Yo, what is going on, guys? It is your boy Pup. We're back with week 3 of the GWA. Don't know what season it is, but I know it is week 3. We took a week, little break. I guess we had weeks 1 and 2 just run for 2 weeks because of the holidays and everything, but we are back with a normal schedule. This week we were facing off against that one guy and their Michigan Manectrics. Right now we're 2-0 plus 5 and they're 0-2 minus 5, so a little bit opposite, but their team definitely doesn't show that. If you guys do want to skip the team builder, you guys can go look at the timestamp that should be in the description. But I highly recommend checking this out. Got a new layout and everything. It looks so sleek and beautiful. My team is up there along with theirs. They have a super fast Dragapult, 142 speed, which is very scary for my team. And just hits like a truck. A first overall pick Pokemon. Hits Draco Meteor versus us. It also has like Dragon Dance sort of sets. I'm worried about choice specs. Worried about choice band. Worried about setup. Worried about everything. They also have Salazzle, which is also very fast, but not too bad for us since I do have 2 Pokemon that are 120 or higher. But they have Corrosion, so they can like potentially poison like a stalling Iron Moth or a Kingambit. Would be annoying for that. But mostly, they just spam their dual stabs, and it's really strong into me. They have Terra Cryogonal, Electric, Ice, and Water, which is really strong with the Levitate ability. It's not too great into this matchup when I do have an Iron Hands, though. They have Lando Eye, which is just really strong and fast. It's just really hard to to live any hits from this Pokemon. But I do have Goodra, which makes me feel like they would want to maybe be on the physical side. They also have Terrayon Mega, which is the Terra Captain that I think comes to this game. Has 2 great abilities, Tinted Lens and Speed Boost, with Terra Fairy, Flying, and Ground. Terra Ground looks great into my team. I don't have a great resist if they do go with Terra Ground, but I can also see like Terra Flying and just go straight for the, like choice specs, Tinted Lens sort of thing, where I don't have any resists at all. And even if I did, it wouldn't matter. They also have Hisuian Samurott, which sets up spikes with Ceaseless Edge, which is a big threat. It's not too fast, but it does hit really, really hard. They also have Rillaboom, which sets up the grassy terrain, which makes their Heatran in the back not take as much from Earthquake, which is really nice for them. Those 2 Pokemon together have some really good utility in this matchup. I could see a Rillaboom being like choice banded here, which is going to hurt a lot. They have like Stomping Tantrum that hits my Iron Moth on potential switch-in sort of thing, and I don't have the greatest switch-ins at all, besides potentially my Avalugg with Terra. They have Klefki, which is annoying prankster screens, plus T-Wave, Foul Play, Spikes sort of thing. You already know what Klefki does, and it's just really annoying. They also have 2 LC Pokemon down here with the Trico. It does have Unburden, so it has the potential if they want to run it as like a Sword Stance Sweeper. It actually could get pretty out of hand. And they also have a Glimmet, which can set up T-Spikes with Toxic Debris. It'd just be really annoying for me to deal with if they bring that Pokemon with like a Focus Sash. So the first Pokemon on my team, I really wanted to use this Terra Captain. It's got to be Magcargo. I want to get a sweep with it, and this matchup looks great for it. We are Terra Grass, so we have a good opportunity to set up on a decent amount of Pokemon. Depending on what they want to click versus me, if they're like Landorus trying to click a ground move or even a rock move, we're not going to get knocked out. We have a huge physical defense, especially if they're going for that. But Earth Power will easily be able to eat it up. And Terra Blast is very strong versus them. Also, Power Gem is really nice. And then we have Earth Power as well to hit like the Heatran or the Klefki. We have a Lumberry on this Pokemon, so we can't get paralyzed by Thunder Wave from Prankster Klefki. It also is really nice if they do bring like Toxic Spikes or something like that, and we're not able to get those away. So we actually have the potential to sweep. They also can't like Thunder Wave me with a potential Dragapult, because that Pokemon does outspeed me after a Shell Smash even. But we do have weak armor, so if they hit me on the physical side, then we get another +2 speed boost, and we'll be able to outrun their entire team. But I'm pretty sure with a Shell Smash, we're modest, a max speed, we should be able to outrun everything up to Landorus Incarnate, which is really nice because the Cryogonal doesn't threaten me until we Terra. It's kind of like a 50-50. The Salazzle definitely will at that point, but all the physical attackers that I'm a little bit worried about are down the board. If they want to try to hit me with like an Aqua Jet or Grassy Glide from their 2 priority starters in the the lower speed tiers, then I'm going to get that speed up and be able to outrun and destroy their entire team. Next up on the squad is going to be Goodra with a Choice Scarf. This is our designated lead, hoping to catch a Dragapult lead. We can knock it out with Draco Meteor in 1 shot. We have a ton of inaccurate moves with Hydro Pump and Fire Blast, also Ice Beam on this set as well, which is just great coverage versus their team. Ice Beam absolutely deletes Landorus that we can outspeed. It's really nice in Neon Mega if they Terrasilize into anything that's not Fairy. It also destroys Rillaboom and Trico, I guess, if they want to bring that Pokemon. I think we might even be outrunning an Unburdened boosted Trico, which is pretty nice. But Hydro Pump is there basically for the Heatran, but we can also hit it into the Salazzle or the Landorus, depending on what we see there. And then Fire Blast hits, the Klefki mostly. That's the important part about that. It can also hit Terra Ice or just no Terra on the Cryogonal as well. This Pokemon just has enough speed to outrun the Dragapult, and we're going to lead it, and we're going to try to bonk that thing on turn 1. If they're Scarfed or if they scout for it, then it's a good play by them, but they don't really have the best switch-ins because they don't have a Fairy type besides Klefki on their squad, which does not like to take Fire Blast from this thing, and getting it weakened will make my Magcargo easier to sweep in the later game. The third Pokemon on my team is going to be Avalugg. We have Terra Ice on this Pokemon just in case we need it, but we are just a very offensive set. We're Adamant Max Attack, not the best set for sure, but I'm trying to make Magcargo shine this week. But we're Heavy Duty Boots. This is a potential spinner if they do have spikes, Stealth Rocks, they have Toxic Spikes. We want to spin all that away because this is the only Bootsmon I'm running on the team. We have Earthquake to catch the Heatran if they want to switch that in. Also hits Klefki decently hard. And then Avalanche absolutely destroys the rest of their team. I should two-shot a Cryogonal if they are Terra'd into Electric, which I do think is not a most horrible Terra into my team. They also might go Water, which is fine. We don't do as much to them, but we still do a solid chunk, and they don't hit us super hard. But yeah, it's just Avalanche, Recover, Earthquake, Rapid Spin, Max Attack, Max HP with the boots. So not much to say about that guy. But next up, we have a defensive Ogerpon. We were rocking a lot of HP, defense, and enough speed to be able to outrun the Torn, or not the Torn, that's on my team, outspeed the Landers. Maybe we have enough speed to outrun Cryogonal, I honestly don't know at this point. But we're Rocky Helmet Pokemon. We can switch into the Rillaboom decently well if they're not like super choice banded. Even if they are choice banded, we don't even die to a Wood Hammer in the terrain or U-turn. So that's not too bad, but we can also switch into the Hisuian Samurott, and once I get some Rocky Helmet damage, we absolutely destroy their team. Stomping Tantrum allows us to one-shot a Heatran. Even if they have a decent amount of defense investment, they need to have a Shucka Berry for that. Ivy Cudgel is very strong versus their team. They actually literally just don't switch into that. Their only resist basically on their team is the Heatran that gets demolished by Stomping Tantrum, or the Yanmega before it Terras. And if it's Terra'd afterwards, even if it's into Terra Flying, Ivy Cudgel is going to hit super duper hard. And we also have Synthesis and U-turn, just for some pivoting and for some recovery. Obviously, just a very good Pokemon in this game. It really wants Dragapult to be gone for it to be that good to take advantage of its speed tier and defense. But it's solid even if it's there, especially if it's like a choice band set. I don't think we even get to it KO'd by choice banded Dragon Darts. Or maybe that's just a regular physical Dragon Darts set. But anyways, we can hit it really hard with the Ivy Cudgel, which it does resist, but not resist that bad. Up next on the team is going to be our Tornadus Therian. We are an Assault Vest set, which basically is our way to cover for the Specs Dragapult, or just a special variant. I don't think they're just going to go like straight up special sort of stuff, because I do have an Iron Moth that I've shown to be very Spadef before, and I have Screamtail, so I don't think Specs makes that much sense to just click like Specs Draco Meteor into that Screamtail. But it could be that. But we have Knockoff, which punishes the Dragapult. It really punishes their entire team. None of them want to lose their item, depending on what it is. That we also have a U-turn for pivoting, obviously. Bleakwind Storm is a really strong stab versus their team. Even with 0, or I guess we have 36 special attack, we should be one-shotting the Rillaboom, which is really nice. And then we have Focus Blast, which also punishes the Heatran. Does a ton to them if they're not specially defensive. Even if they are very specially defensive, I think it's a roll to two-shot without leftovers or terrain. So we'll see what happens with that. But Assault Vest, so we should be able to switch into, we obviously switch into the Dragapult decently. We switch into the Heatran as well, as long as they're not like Specs. I don't think they have Eruption in this game, which is good for me. And it's a decent switch into the Yanmega as well. And last but not least on the team, I had to bring Kingambit. Has an incredible matchup here with Sucker Punch just absolutely destroying their entire team. They don't have a single Pokemon that like takes on this Pokemon very well. Maybe Klefki, being able to click Foul Play, but that's just about it. We Swords Dance and Sucker Punch plus Kowtow plus Iron Head just absolutely tears through their team. We have a good amount of speed investment on this Pokemon to try to catch the Klefki and potentially the Heatran as well, so we don't have to click Sucker Punch on that. But Kowtow Cleave, is just really strong versus them in general. But if we have to click Sucker Punch, if we have to go for the mind games, I'm all about it. We have Black Glasses to boost it, so they're just getting one shot once this is our last Pokemon with Supreme Overlord. But that's going to be about it for the team. Hope you guys enjoy the battle. Let's get right to it. All right, we are here with the game against Cart. My computer and capture card and everything was all sorts of wonky, literally like an hour before this started. So I didn't get my audio situated. I had to record onto my laptop instead of my computer because it was being all fussy. But we see what they bring. They did bring the Cryogonal, which was not exactly what I expected, but besides that, it is very expected. We're just going to lead off with our Goodra. I mean, it leads great into the Dragapult. If they do end up bringing that, that's basically what we're looking for in this scenario. Hopefully we see them lead with that thing and stay in on a nice Draco to the face. I mean, that's just what we want to see. I mean, that's the only real good option for us. And besides that, I think King Gambit looks really good in this game. And Macargo is actually solid. They do have 2 forms of priority on their team, though, so we just cannot get low. But we'll see what happens in this game. And we're going to have to get hit by some sort of physical move as we click Shell Smash to be faster than their entire team. They're going to lead with the Samurott, which makes a lot of sense. It's something that I did kind of expect. And I do have a telegraphed switch into Ogerpon here. It's really just kind of what I planned for through this game. Was if they lead with it, we just go hard Ogerpon. If they want to seize the Sedge, they're going to take a little bit of chip, potentially get rid of Focus Sash. And then I can choose to either pivot out with U-turn or call the Heatran switch in with Stomping Tantrum, which I should do every time. They do hit the Ceaseless Edge. It does a decent chunk, so they're definitely just like pretty offensive. They get hurt by the helmet. Ivy Cudgel will obviously knock them out at this point, but I think Stomping Tantrum was always the play here. Even if they stayed in, I guess it wouldn't punish them as much if they were like Choice Scarfed and trying to set their hazards. But I think that they would probably be more of a Focus Sash sort of oriented lead into this matchup. So we're going to click U-turn as they're going to switch out. And I mean, they're going to go into the oven. It's going to be Heatran. This thing is going to be Flame Body, so we just have to be careful to not get burned here. But they get it on the first try, which is just really tough. We should have clicked Stomping Tantrum every time versus them. Been able to 2-hit KO that Pokemon and just put us in a really, really good spot because we don't deal with this Heatran very well at all. Potentially, I should be going like Macargo in this scenario and just clicking Shell Smash versus their team. Or just clicking Earth Power, something like that. We should always live 1 hit. But we go Torn here. I have Focus Blast versus them, so I can at least threaten them a little bit, although they are very specially defensive. And if this Pokemon gets weakened too bad, then it's kind of tough. Also, you know, I'm letting them set up Stealth Rocks for free in a match where it's pretty hard for me to spin with a very slow Avalugg. And they have the nice Dragapult in the back that very much threatens me with special attacks. Although they might not want to bring it in on an Ice type, clicking Ice type moves. But we're going to click Focus Blast. We do hit, but they are Chople Berry, so it's not going to do quite as much as I would have wanted it to do. They do show to be very specially defensive on the set as well, and they go for Magma Storm, they miss it. So nice for us, kind of evens out the luck with the Flame Body. But even then, the chances, I mean, I guess the chances of it missing and the chance of Flame Body are basically the same. That's fine. We're going to knock off Predicting a Switch here as they don't get it. I figured that they wouldn't want to take more damage on the Heatran, but I guess putting up the Stealth Rocks makes sense. I thought Dragapult made a decent amount of sense on that turn to come in. But this turn, we're just going to click Focus Blast again versus them. And we do end up missing, which is a little frustrating because hitting another one, it might put them in a 2-hit KO range, and we're just going to be taking a lot of damage from the Magma Storm, from the swirling magma that's going to be around us. It just puts me in a really nasty spot where I guess I could U-turn out and get my Regenerator back, but we're Assault Vested and not Heavy Duty Boots, so when we come back in, the Stealth Rocks are going to be really annoying. So we're going to take another hit on the oven here as they go for a Will-O-Wisp. I guess Will-O-Wisp is annoying, so my knockoff doesn't do as much damage. That's okay because Bleak Wind is mostly what we want to click into every other Pokemon on their team besides this one. So, I mean, it's not horrible. It's not the best situation for me at all. I'm going to click Focus Blast again here, and if they do make a switch, it's really tough for me in this scenario. Because the Dragapult can come in now, since I'm burned, and it's really hard for me to do too much damage to them. So they do make that great play. I mean, just a great play by that one guy. Really getting in my head in this game early. Just really tough. I was already just in a bad spot mentally from my computer not working at all. And then, you know, I got flame body burned. I didn't go with what was according to plan, catching that Heatran. Just a tough situation for me. But, I mean, at this point, I should probably just stay in and sack off my Torn, really kind of scout out what kind of set this is. But I decided that my Ogerpon is a little bit less useful. And I don't know if that's exactly true. The Rocky Helmet's nice, and I guess if they were like gonna click U-turn here, it would be kind of nice to get some extra chip on them. But they got a Spike and a Stealth Rock up, and they're just gonna go for a Substitute. So I'm just in a horrible spot here. I don't have Knockoff, which would be able to break their sub at this point. And it seems like either sub DD makes a lot of sense, or like sub Willow Hex sort of stuff makes a lot of sense. And with the Will-O-Wisp on the Heatran, with Magma Storm, with a lot of hazards control, I feel like it makes a lot of sense for them to be sub Willow Hex. But we're just in a tough spot. They're just gonna click Hex and be able to take out my Ogerpon here. I mean, there's nothing we can do about it. The only Pokemon that actually like eats a hit very well and is able to like threaten this guy is my Avalugg, who should be able to always make sure we like break their sub, which is good, at least since we are moving after them. Even if they burn me, I'm not too worried about it. I could also go to Goodra and click Ice Beam twice, but I don't love that idea. I mean, it could actually be decent. Maybe it was the better idea here, keep my Avalugg alive for later and just go in and show that my Goodra is scarfed in this point. But if I click Ice Beam once and then they switch out to Heatran, I'm just in a tough spot again, where I maybe have to go back out to Torn. So I know it's just a tough spot here. I also could have gone Magcargo, especially if I was more physical with Rock Blast. Would have been really nice in this scenario, but I'm just not. So, I mean, we just basically have to click Avalanche versus them. Willows does end up connecting, but we're going to be able to take it out anyways. We were just max attack Adamant, but Avalanche gets doubled in power since we got hit by them anyways. I mean, they're not anything bulky. They're a Dragapult, you know. So we're easily going to be able to do that. It looks like if they attacked me, it might even be pretty close to taking them out with a with the Avalanche, even through the burn. But it really depends on what kind of investment they have, and you know, maybe if I clicked Terra Ice this turn, then it would be for sure, you know, it would for sure take them out. We always live the Hex here, unless they're like max Modest, which I don't think they were. And well, we live, so maybe they were very special attack invested, but we should have probably clicked Terra Ice there. If we would have got that off, it would have been really nice to be able to take out the Dragapult. But our Avalugg is going to go down here. I mean, we do get the free swap. Sorry, I cannot speak at all today. We get the free swap out to our Choice Scarf Goodra, which does outspeed this Pokemon, but if they make a good play and go out to the Heatran, then I'm just in a bad spot in general. Thinking about clicking Hydro Pump to try to catch that switch, but it doesn't look like it's going to be able to knock out the Dragapult. They also do have the pretty free switch into Cryogonal, especially on an Ice Beam, but it also takes the Draco very well and just, you know, is annoying for me to deal with. So they are going to withdraw. Puts me in a tough spot. We go to Yuletide, that's obviously the Cryogonal. That's my own mascot, they're using it against me. And this Ice Beam, it does absolutely no type of damage. Now, at least like King Gambit can basically eat up any kind of hit that they want to go for, but it puts me in a worse spot if I want to do that. So I'm going to go out to Torn. We are Assault Vest, so we should probably be able to eat. We should eat a Freeze Dry for sure. An Ice Beam, not so sure about that one. But they do show to be a Reflect set. And it's like, at this point, the screens are against me. I mean, what can I do about it, man? I have to put all my eggs in one basket and go for the sweep with Magcargo. But it's going to be really tough to get that set up. It really just depends on what kind of damage I can do. Because if I was heavy duty boots in this scenario, it would actually be pretty easy for me to set up a sweep. If Rillaboom or the Samurott ever get out in front of me, which I'm baiting out with King Gambit since they obviously should have Sacred Sword on their set. But you know, if I had the boots, then I would be in a great spot to be able to deal with it with my Magcargo. It would honestly just basically be able to 6-0 besides any Focus Ashes that they might have in the back. But I mean, still would have been pretty nice. Maybe if we were Rock Blast on the set, That would have been a little bit better. We're going to Sword Stance as they make a great swat out into the Samurott. Should have just clicked any move versus them, I guess. But maybe they were predicting the Iron Head to come out. We are going to try to get ourselves in a position to maybe win with Magcargo, just depending on what kind of damage we take. So we're going to sack off our Goodra here. I mean, it's going to take so much from the Ceaseless Edge that's coming out. I guess it's going to be the Sacred Sword. And it's just going to knock us out since we're no bulk. Pretty sure that was a roll, but it doesn't really matter. Some extra damage on this thing could have been nice, maybe for differential, but I didn't want to knock it out ever. So we're going to go Magcargo, and we take the spikes and the rocks, which really hurts us here. It's just horrible to take all that. And we're just going to go for the Shell Smash. I mean, just, you know, potentially go for a sweep, just in case they don't hit me here, or if they don't have anything to hit me like hard with. I could be in a decent spot, but they go for Ceaseless, so they weren't Choice Scarf locked in. Now we're at 23 HP, which means if they have Aqua Jet, if they have Sucker Punch, or if they have Grassy Glide in the back, then I'm just screwed. So a really tough one. If I didn't let the Stealth Rocks go up, we actually would have still been in a good position here, even with the -1 defense. Or I guess, what, at this point we're -2 defense. I think I still would have been able to live. But the Reflect goes off. I'm going to send off a Power Gem because my only way to win this game is if they Grassy Glide on Rillaboom and they go hard out to it here, predicting a Terra Blast. This should knock this Pokemon out anyways, as long as they're not Assault Vested or just insanely specially bulky. So we're going to go for the Power Gem here, go for it, but they are Assault Vest, annoying for me. I mean, it is what it is. And I mean, they get to bring out any one of their million Pokemon that just beat my King Gambit. Really tough matchup for me. Maybe I needed to prioritize some hazards in this matchup, really limit all that switching, which would have been really nice, as they're going to go out to the Landorus. I mean, there's nothing we can do about it. Even a crit Sucker Punch probably isn't going to be enough. Actually, I think it would be at this range, since we have the 5 Supreme Overlord boost. But they're just going to be able to click Earth Power versus me, and it's just a tough game for me to deal with. They just prepped very well and played even better. Maybe if at the very beginning I clicked Stomping Tantrum on that Heatran switch, I probably would not have gotten 6-0'd in this game. I definitely wouldn't have gotten 6-0'd because my Ogerpon wouldn't have gotten burned, my Torn wouldn't have gotten burned or Magma Storm trapped, or they wouldn't have gotten Stealth Rocks up. It would have just been a much different game, and I just played poorly into it. Really unfortunate, but hopefully we can bounce back next week. We're at 2-1 still, but with a negative differential. It's not looking the best. We have a nasty matchup against Crep. Great battler that we have to face off against next week, and hopefully we can bounce back. That's going to be about it. If you guys do enjoy the Pokemon Draft League content, please be sure to leave a like and subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.